Hey class, so in this video I am going to cover a simple Punnett Square. It's actually going to be a question from your study guide that is asking about a monohybrid cross. So this can help you with any of the questions in the study guide that has a monohybrid cross in it. So it's dealing with one trait. And before we get to that question, I wanted to do some quick vocab review. So based on the notes that we took, genotype, remember, it refers to the genetic makeup, so the actual genes, genotype, genes. Phenotype refers to the physical traits that you actually see. So phenotype, physical traits that you actually see when the gene is expressed. A genotype itself is made up of alleles, so forms of a gene, and there's going to be two alleles per trait. That's why we have usually two letters representing each allele for the genotype for a physical trait. A genotype can be homozygous. Remember, homo means same. So you could have big A as your two alleles being the same, or little a being the same alleles for a homozygous genotype. Heterozygous, remember, hetero means different. So the alleles have to be different, a big A, little a. When these are then expressed as traits, it can be dominant, and the dominant trait is seen when there's at least one dominant allele. So as long as you have a big A, a dominant allele, you're going to see the dominant trait. But a recessive trait is hidden whenever you have a dominant allele. It's hidden and only seen when you have two recessive alleles. So two of the little a's means you get to finally see the recessive trait. Now that we've done that quick review, let me get to this practice problem from the study guide. Sometimes the page marker doesn't want to work with me, but I think I've got it back on. Yep. All right. So this question was asking that in dogs, fur color has two alleles. So again, two alleles. The dominant allele, F, so let's do red, codes for gray fur. So the dominant allele is big F for gray. And then green, we can say the recessive allele is a lowercase for black fur. Okay? It's saying that the female dog is heterozygous. What does it mean to be heterozygous again? It means you have different alleles. So for the female dog, it's going to be different in terms of the two alleles. You're going to have the big F and the little f. Then we've got the male dog being homozygous. Homo means same, recessive. And the recessive was the little l. So when we have the genotype, the two traits are going to be little l, little l. So we're just going to put those down here, the male dog right here, and then the female dog right here. So now when we cross them, we're going to make sure that it goes all the way across. To each of those Punnett Square squares. As well as the male dog's alleles, right? Because you're getting one from each of your parents. So those are your final offsprings, right? And so when you're looking at the offsprings, it's asking, the final question is asking for the ratio or percentage of possible phenotypes and genotypes of their puppies. These are all their puppies inside the Punnett Square. How many do we see being big F, big F? None, right? So that's 0. How many do we see being big F, little f? We see big F, little f, 1, 2. 2 out of the 4 times, which is half, right? And half in percentage is 50%. How about little f, little f? We see it right here. And that's also going to be 2 out of 4, which is 50%. So those should be your answers for the percent of possible genotypes for the offspring within the Punnett Square. And then the phenotypes, you can just do based off of this. What does it mean to be little f, big F? Well, the big F is dominant. So this, remember, gray fur was dominant. When do you see it? 50% of the time, right? With the genotype that's associated with it. So 50% here. And then black fur, remember, was little f because it was recessive. And you see recessive traits only happen when they're homozygous recessive, right? And 50% of the offspring has that homozygous recessive. So 50% of the puppies are going to have black fur, and 50% of them are going to have gray fur. And those should have been your final answers. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me with comments or concerns, as always. And you can also check out my practice dihybrid cross video for Punnett Squares to see what we do when we're looking at 2 traits. So not just one trait like fur color. And those are some crosses that are also in your review packet. So check that out. Have a great rest of your day.